Welcome back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is going to be episode 10. We didn't let Jake do the intro this week.
You people got what you wanted.
We got what we wanted last week, yeah, that's for sure. But my name is Zach. I'm joined by my wife, Hannah.
Hi.
And my best friend, Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
That's it. That was my line last week.
It was.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who delivers it better. I'm more comfortable with it.
I think I deliver it best.
I don't think you've ever said it.
I don't think you have.
I haven't.
Well, then, do you just know it in your heart?
Tonight's not the night.
Okay. Well, we got a few things to hit up top before we get into tonight's episode.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So Shane
follows me on Twitter.
That's true.
He also follows me on Twitter.
I don't think he follows me yet.
I went through his following list. He does not follow you.
You went through every one of his.
I did.
That's a lot.
Well, like the great Paramore once said, Haley Williams in particular.
I like that they're just like an entity.
That's what you get when you let your heart win.
That's true.
That's right. Also, they are an entity.
Well, I was going to say something else about them, but I'm going to try to keep it on the rails tonight.
Well, you're more than welcome to.
No, it's fine.
Paramore is a gift to the earth.
So, if you haven't listened to our interview with Shane or Cam or Marie or Brandon, go back and do that now. I know we're going to have some new listeners this week. Special shout out to Alan today for shouting us out to his followers.
Shout out to him for the shout out to us.
Yeah, basically he writes
like Inception.
He writes some really cool articles about reality television in general, a lot about the challenge and the Are You the One, some other shows. I know him from Reddit because he was Rip Grantland, and he talked to me about how he likes Grantland a lot, and I loved Grantland when it came out.
Do you think he still talks to Bill?
I don't know if he ever talked to Bill to begin with.
Do you think it's pronounced Rip Grantland or R.I.P. Grantland?
I mean, I wasn't getting like phonetical with it.
Well, when you first said it, I just thought, I wonder what that means. And then obviously it's about something that is no longer here. So maybe it's pronounced R.I.P. Grantland.
It's a username. I think it's pronounced anyway.
I figured out that there's a lot of things I want to do in life. Mm-hmm. One of those things is if I could sit down and watch a football game with Bill Simmons, I feel like that would be like monumental. I feel like that would be a really good time. You don't think so?
What? I didn't shake my head or anything.
Have you ever listened to him and Cousin Sal guess the lines?
Yeah, I listen to it every time they do it. I listen to it Saturday.
I feel like they would be a great time to watch a large, maybe the Super Bowl, right?
Good old American football.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be like a Patriots game, and I don't really want to watch that.
America's pastime.
So I know we're not like
brings people together.
Good buddies with Alan or anything. But
Hashtag never forget.
I mean, I've never talked to him in real life.
If he does talk to Bill.
9/11.
Okay, so just because I think you're like equating because his username has something to do with Grantland that he somehow knows Bill.
But we don't know. Maybe he does.
That may be true, but also I know he's like 22, so I don't think that's the case.
Well, Bill's not an ageist or anything from what I know.
Oh, he is.
You think so?
Yeah. So we're getting way off again. So
the train fell over.
Let's get into challenge-related material. CT got married this week.
He did.
Yeah.
This is a pretty cool moment.
Yeah,
the wedding was beautiful.
From what I'd read, he actually had already gotten married at a courthouse like a few months ago, and this was just the ceremony.
We know people that have done that.
Yeah. I think it's going to be filmed and put out as a special on MTV. There was a decent amount of
challenge people.
Yeah, I know Wes was there. Tony and his wife were there. Derek was there. Leroy, Cara. I can't remember if there was any other ones, but those were the main people that I saw that were there. It was in Miami, I think.
The weather was really
was Shane
great.
There? I think Shane was
there.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful wedding. The guests.
CT looked like he'd been working out more.
Mm-hmm. Looked good.
Yeah, I really think that's why he decided to get back in shape. One, because his dad bod on his return to the challenge, I feel like he thought it was funny, but also maybe he was a little bit insecure about that. But also he had a wedding coming up, and it takes a while to get back in shape. It's not like an overnight thing. So
again, it was interesting to see who was there.
I really enjoyed being there. It was a lot of fun.
Hannah
getting to hang out with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was just totally dressed to the nines. They're all a lot of fun.
The rumor
Atmosphere was great.
was that Bananas
Was not invited.
No, he was invited, and then he was uninvited.
Like
Ooh,
the movie.
that's even harsher. That's
But-
like a burn.
Yeah, because he said something along the lines of CT had a dad bod and was just marrying a stripper that he knocked up. Something along those lines. I'm not phrasing directly, but it was something like that, enough to make him be disinvited.
Well, yeah, if you say something like that about the bride,
Yeah.
no.
Which, knowing what we do
No.
about Johnny, there's a
It
good
doesn't
chance.
surprise me.
There's a good chance when he said it, he didn't mean anything by it.
But it doesn't surprise
But-
any of us that it would
That
have
he
been
actually
said.
Right.
said
Yeah.
it.
But at the same time,
It might have been tongue in cheek, but
I'm not
he
saying-
doesn't know his boundaries
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah, I'm not saying I don't believe it that he said that, but the
And
fact they're supposed to be really good friends.
I mean, they've been doing it. They've known each other for what, like 15 years?
yeah.
I mean, it's been a while. Maybe not that long, but it's been a while. It's been at least 10.
I mean, that'd be like the
Jake,
equivalent.
we would never say that about your bride.
I would.
Well, there's a chance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm trying to figure out what you could say to be uninvited to my wedding.
I don't know. Like, I really don't. Like, how?
I don't know. Well,
Because I'm a forgiving guy.
yeah.
You know, I don't hold grudges.
Yeah,
You know, I don't stay bitter or angry at people.
you were in my wedding.
I was in your wedding.
You were in our wedding. I remember that.
I feel like I was way on down the list of groomsmen.
That was not true.
Jake, you were number 2. You were
Yeah,
just after.
Was I number
The
two?
only person
You
that was
were
ahead
after
of you
the bloodline.
was my first cousin.
I don't know if you're trying to say anything by making me number 2, but
Yeah,
Jake.
yeah.
Jake, was Zachary your
you
groom of honor?
you were number 3.
Oh,
Are we gonna get into all this?
here we go. You made
But-
him number 3.
but
He
to
was
be
behind
fair-
2 other people.
Family. You were behind family.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
whatever.
No, I don't know that there's anything you could say. You'd really have to just go off the deep end.
Yeah.
As a friend.
Unless the lady that you decide to marry is like really sensitive about stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and she isn't funny and doesn't like jokes,
Right.
please don't marry somebody like that.
Well, to quote the Stinger, mine and Shane's favorite wrestler, not the musician, the artist, the only thing that's for sure is that nothing's for sure.
There's no way he originated that.
Well, he's the first person
We're
I
going
heard
to
say
quote
that.
him as originating that.
YouTube it. He's on
So
there.
anyway, getting past CT's wedding,
Johnny was not allowed to attend.
supposedly, allegedly, we don't know that for sure. Speaking of, other than that, a big thing for us this week,
There we go.
which I don't even know how you found it really, but we were featured on Podbean under their popular podcast for TV and film, which we didn't apply to anything. Like it just happened. We didn't.
We're popular.
Yeah, I mean it was a big honor for us.
A big surprise.
Yeah. You found it, Jake.
I did. I was just, honestly, I just Googled Smashing Heads Podcast to see what sort of results popped up, and
I'm
turns
pretty sure
out
we're the only one.
we are.
Yeah.
But, you know, maybe there's some sort of hate article out there or something. on
And it
us.
would be on Podbean?
No, just anywhere on the interweb. And but it turns out that we're on. There was another list actually on new podcast in general where we were in the top 100.
Oh, I didn't see
I
that.
didn't send you that
No,
one.
you
I don't
didn't.
remember the website, but on Podbean, our home pod,
That's who we host through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we were on the popular page.
Yeah. I mean, we were like 5th or 6th or something like that, and I was like, "Hey, that's awesome."
I think it officially makes us one of the cool kids. It's like being in high school all over again. And
I don't
you're
wanna
trying-
be
That's
back
not.
in high
It's not
school.
like being in high school all over again. I don't know what it's like to be one of the cool kids.
I don't want to ever have to go back to high school.
I know what it's like to try to be one of the cool kids.
I hated high school.
That's it.
I wouldn't
You
go
know.
back for anything.
When everybody got a perm, I got a perm.
Look, first, let's rewind that one back a little bit.
Here we go.
You were like 14, and
I
not
was.
everyone got a perm. You were the only person I knew that got one.
Jake, what year was that?
This would have been, if I was 14, I was a freshman. Yeah, I was a freshman. So that was 2005.
I don't know of anybody getting perms. In
I can think of 3 right now, and they were 3 very well-known, very well-renowned guys.
But we didn't know those people, so he just showed up.
I knew them.
But we didn't. But you just showed up, and you had a red track jacket that you zipped up all the way.
My All-American Eagle attire, that's
Yeah.
right.
You zipped up all the way, and you looked like one of the little kids from the Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah, well, Well, and I went from that to jet black hair, started straightening it.
Yep.
You
just damaged your hair so much in like the span of like a year and a half.
Well, I became an emo kid, which is why we became best friends.
You went from like so many different extremes.
We should do a podcast on that one day, just all the different phases we went through as teenagers.
I don't feel like we had a lot.
We had a lot.
Zach, I will say...
We wore girl pants.
I didn't. You did.
I did.
That's right. But I will say, Zachary, I've seen a lot of your pictures and such from high school. I would not have even talked to you.
She's right.
Back then, I didn't care. It was just all about the music.
Thank you for looking like a lumberjack these days.
Well, to be fair, I went to private school. You weren't allowed to have facial hair.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you for not being in private school anymore.
So anyway, we didn't do any interviews this week. We took a week or two off. We have some other things that are going to be lined up, but we haven't announced anything yet. So again, if you're new to our weekly shows, we just kind of talk about different challenge-related things, and then we'll get into the episode for tonight. We'll get there very shortly. The only other thing I was going to say up top was, what are you nodding at me?
I'm waiting on you to say it.
Which one? I have two notes actually.
You said only thing.
I was going to skip one, and then he started smiling real bad.
Don't skip the one I think you may skip.
iTunes reviews?
Why would I want you to skip that?
I don't know. That's what I can't figure out. Yeah, if you would, we've got a couple of new iTunes reviews. We really appreciate those. It really helps us out. It helps us get into more ears. It puts us on popular pages and things like that. So
with that being said, don't go on there and give us really bad reviews.
Well, here's what I think should happen is, if you are going to give us a bad review, just let us know why.
Yeah, let us know why.
At least give us an explanation.
Yeah, because we know not everybody's going to like us. We're not everybody's cup of tea, but at least let us know why you didn't have a good time. I really didn't expect
to be anybody's cup of tea.
Because our main job here is to make sure you have a good time, and if we're not doing that, we are severely failing you guys.
Yeah, and again, I feel like we're finding a pretty good audience as far as like growth and things like that. We haven't announced it, but I mean, tomorrow morning we'll cross 10,000 downloads, and it's been like 2 months. And that's amazing to all of us.
We have something in the works for you guys that we talked about tonight. Yeah,
we'll
announce that later.
The only other thing I had up top, I was going to skip the iTunes one, was apparently in the last week.
This is the one.
We did something enough to make a cast member block us. We're not going to say who it is. And I don't feel like we were mean to anyone. I don't feel like we went after anyone.
But we got the block on the Twitter.
Yeah, it was really weird because it was like, these tweets are unavailable. And I was like, what? And I clicked on it, and it's like, you're blocked.
Do we really not need to say their name?
No, let's not get into it because we don't want anything.
Well, we don't have any beef.
No, we don't. But I just don't want anyone to feel like, oh, why'd you block them? I don't care.
Yeah, let's not stir that pot.
I just think it's kind of funny because I felt like we didn't really do anything, but at the same time, it's their prerogative. I understand if they want to block people who they just don't want to see. Their own thing.
That's okay.
I feel like it's a rite of passage though. Like we did tweet about it, or like when they block you on Twitter but forget on Instagram, and people are like, "It's like congratulations, like you've made it." And
it does feel like.
I mean, we're not trying to make anyone mad.
At the same time,
we're fans.
It hurts a little bit. I feel like the door's shut.
I've never been blocked by anybody before.
I have.
I don't know. I don't know if I have. I don't really tweet anything like aggressively.
I need more Twitter followers.
Cool.
You know, I'm sitting on 43.
Yeah, but that's because you just got back on Twitter like a month ago.
Well, I've been on there. I just never tweeted until about a month ago.
I thought you deleted your original account.
I did, and then I made another one in 2014.
You shouldn't have done that. That's your own fault.
Zach's giving us the speed it along, so let's jump into.
We're 15 minutes already.
I know Shane's gonna be really disappointed again. You should probably let me be the host next week.
We tried. You didn't want to. We tried to record an intro with you.
Yeah, but I was not prepared.
That Jake wasn't last week either.
I will be prepared next week.
Then I'm gonna do it next week.
No,
it's got to be. You got to not know when it's coming.
I don't care. I'm gonna be ready next week.
Tonight.
Here we go.
Tonight the episode starts
with Joss working out.
That's true.
It's the first thing we see.
It was Joss working out was the first thing.
Kaylee was working out too.
Yeah, but it started with Joss.
There was a couple people.
But Joss is the first thing you see.
Yeah, and then it like cuts to the pool, like hard cut to the pool.
Yep.
Everybody's hanging out.
They're all the girls like laying down the side. Johnny's in the pool.
And they make a joke to Johnny about him marrying Angela one day. Like, it's a joke. It like
invite us to your wedding.
Yeah. And like,
which
that's
is ironic considering what we just talked about.
Yeah. But like, those are jokes that we make to our friends.
I don't know. It was just weird. He took it very like aggressively, and they may have edited it to like, it may have escalated to that and they just cut to it, but I just wrote like, he is overly angry for like no real reason. He's like, why does everyone care about what I'm doing and whatever? Well,
I wrote that why is he so defensive and going off on someone because of a joke? And like, even after he blew up on them, the girls are like, why are you mad about this? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah,
it just didn't make any sense.
It was strange. It was a strange turn of events, considering, one, how much he pries into everyone's life, and then two, I mean, they didn't really have a relationship. She was there like 2 weeks and then it's gone.
But still, it's a joke. It's somebody he was, like flirting with, hanging out with. That's a joke you make with your friend, like, hey, invite me to the wedding.
It's a weird season for Johnny.
It is. It is a weird season for him.
And I think he's kind of on edge.
I agree.
He's having to play this game quite a bit differently than what he has in the past.
He does not have the friends in the house like he used to.
I mean, he's having to make alliances with Jose.
Yeah, rookie teams.
That's where he's at. And so...
that says a lot.
I think his reaction is a byproduct of where he's kind of at this season.
I agree with that.
Because, no one badmouthed Angela.
No one's like...
No.
Nobody said anything about Johnny.
Yeah. No, they didn't go after his integrity or like... Although, in the interview, Amanda said she thinks it's fake, and I have heard a lot of people say that they thought it was fake, like just for the show.
But even if it
I
was,
can see that.
Nothing was said.
It wasn't malicious. Like Johnny has said probably a million worse things on this season.
He has, but there was nothing negative about this, nothing hurtful about this. It just,
that we saw, to be fair.
That we saw. Yeah. But it just seems like, it made me feel like he was really insecure about something, and it kind of triggered him.
I think it goes back to what Jake's saying. I think he's in a weird place this season. Like, Tony's probably his best friend, and they hated each other after last year.
Yeah.
It's a little reminiscent. If you think back to what Johnny was like when he was first coming into the challenge, when he was John.
And his voice was a lot deeper.
It's a little reminiscent of that.
Kind of whispery.
Because like when Kenny and Evan were still running things, he's trying to make his way, and like even the smallest things just kind of set him off and put him on edge. It's a little reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
And so there's no Kenny and Evan in this house. But
what if they came back as mercenaries?
Hey,
I would.
That would be insane.
Flip the table. I would flip this table.
But he's he's, as they say, behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, he's definitely, I think, feeling the pressure of the whole situation. He doesn't have the alliances like he used to. Even the thing with Johnny that he was always good at was, even if he didn't have friends, he had alliances of weaker teams who would protect him because they don't want to go in. And he doesn't have that this year or this season. And it's kind of weird. Like, even going back to like last year with like the troika and all that stuff, like he was sitting at that table like leading those a lot of the times, and he's not doing that now.
No,
I mean,
kind of the opposite.
Yeah, it's weird to see him go and try to make an alliance with like Davon and Jose, who are considered one of the teams on the outskirts. Now they have come back a couple times, but they've only come back because they've been in redemption twice.
Yeah,
and so I don't think they're like a power team at all right now.
Yeah, well. We'll see how this plays out.
Also, shout out to Marie for cleaning the pool while everyone else was arguing. She had the skimmer out. She was cleaning the pool.
Not an easy job.
No.
You know what? I would say Marie and I would be friends because of that, but we are friends.
You're already
I can say that we're already friends, but I am the one that has the pool skimmer cleaning the pool.
She was just, minding her business, not getting involved in it, just cleaning things out.
It's really, I enjoy cleaning the pool out with the pool skimmer. I don't know why. I guess my cleanliness.
Shout out to Marie for being clean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I guarantee there's a lot of really messy people there.
Yeah, that pool's going to be gross.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to think about it.
Maybe some food. Toenail clippings.
What kind of pool have you
okay,
been?
whatever.
You don't ever clip your toenails by the pool?
No.
Exclusively. That's the only place I do it.
Absolutely disgusting. Anyway, So after this, it cuts to the redemption house.
Yep.
So last episode we saw at the very end that Jose and Davon were the two that got to pull the double cross.
Which again,
because
that looks insane.
everybody else pulled and did not get the double cross. They were the last to go, and it was it.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone left at the Redemption House is now doing anything and everything to try to suck up to them to be the team that they choose to go into elimination and get a shot back at the house. And it's so funny that CT says he's willing to do whatever.
Well, CT asked Paulie, he's like, Paulie, would you kiss a man for $1 million? And we didn't get Paulie's answer, but that's when CT started like showing his butt a little bit more.
And he did have Jose come and sit by him and asked him, what kind of man
and then once Jose
are
kind
you
of put it
interested
together,
in?
Would you kiss a man for $1 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which man?
I didn't know we had rules on it. But for $1 million, yeah.
I think it stands just like...
Would you kiss Jake for $1 million?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Really?
For $1 million?
Would you buy me a new house with it?
I don't think it would. Yeah, because I don't think this would
That's a
affect
yes to the new
our
house.
relationship.
Jake, that's a yes to a new house. I love my house, but I want a bigger one.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's a stupid thing not to do.
Well, we're both straight men.
Yeah.
We need to find $1 million so that this can happen.
And we need to find someone that has a very weird fetish. It's like, I need 2 straight people to kiss, and I'll give you $1 million.
But we're 2 straight men.
Yeah.
I would kiss a man for $1 million.
Yeah, like it's okay. My cousin, who we all know here.
I would kiss him for $1 million.
Yeah, he would literally do anything for $1 million.
We played this game.
We've
with
played
him.
it, and we've got as graphic and disgusting as we could be.
What?
And he's like, "Yeah, it's $1 million.
Okay,
I would do it."
So was this what happened when you guys were all working together at work together? Your offices are all real close together, and he got you to rub your hair in peroxide?
No, that was just we were bored. We tried to dye my hair with hydrogen peroxide.
Did it work?
No.
No, but he got paid during that time.
What did they pay
for
you?
them to?
No.
I mean he was
just at work.
on his
You were
work
on the
time
clock.
Yeah.
on the clock getting paid, and they get bored and walk outside their offices and decide to try to dye his hair.
I wonder how many people get to keep their job playing with peroxide while on the clock.
I mean, I don't
With
know if
each
there's.
other.
I don't know if there's
With each other.
I don't know if there's a study for that.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it's $1 million. Absolutely, yeah, wouldn't even faze me.
So you don't blame CT for doing whatever.
No, he
called it a Hail Mary.
At this point, he had no other option.
No, because there were chances
we knew they were going to pick Big Brother.
Yeah,
we knew it because they knew even if one of them loses, they get to just go back to redemption.
Yeah.
So
the chances for CT were slim to none.
Yeah, it made sense for them to do that.
Yeah.
Like, as much as I don't like the Big Brother people, I get why they did it 100%. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, it made sense.
Because that still keeps one of their alliance members in the game somewhat, even if they lose.
So that they have a chance to come back into the main house, and there's a chance for both teams to be in the main house, and then they have someone that they can trust and work with.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It just sucks that CT didn't get a chance to come back in the house.
Yeah.
Joss was really upset about it.
I did make a note that so Derek was trying to like be all flirty with Davon and like dance on her and like do all this stuff, and she just like shut him down. She said something along the lines of like
She said these 2 chocolates are never going to mix.
Yeah, and I was like, there's just another thing that Derek sucks at. I was like, he just
picking up women.
Ironically enough, Derek's not the one who's blocked us, and that's about the only person we've talked bad about. So you can rule him out.
Poor Derek. We got to stop talking about him.
Well, he's gone. Probably never coming back to the show.
Okay,
so.
One thing.
First of all, do you think he's going to come back? Do you think MTV will invite him back?
I don't
know that MTV will invite him back, but if they do, I think he'll say yes.
I feel.
I don't think he'll get another call.
I think he's desperate enough to come back on and try to prove how good he is. Because
I
that's been like his whole thing this whole season is him proving himself.
Jake, how do you feel?
Well, I feel real bad for the guy.
I don't.
Because, he continues to just, he doesn't perform well.
He has all the physical tools he needs.
There's not one thing he's really succeeded at on this show.
I literally thought when he started, I was like, he's gonna get with Davon, and this may be something he's good at.
Yeah.
Nope.
Not only has he not performed in the challenges, He's had one of his girls cheat on him.
On TV, on the same season he was on.
On the same show they were on together.
Yeah, that sucks.
He has an ex who thinks he's a lunatic.
Yeah, well, she's crazy too.
She
to be
is,
fair.
but and then he's got one that he hit on tonight.
Just shut
that is just
down.
like, nope.
She got up and walked away in that interview.
And it makes me wonder, what can he do? I really want to know. I want to have something to say
I
hey,
thought tonight we were going to get that.
This is what he's good at.
I thought that's what we were going to get tonight. I was like, oh, we've never seen him do this. Maybe this is his calling. No, it's not it.
Yeah, I wondered if he might be the next Corey.
No.
Apparently not.
Yeah.
I think I want to loop him into my dinner get-together with Nelson. I want to take them both out to dinner, man. I feel bad.
I don't feel bad for him. Nelson, I do feel bad for sometimes.
Yeah, I do feel bad for Nelson sometimes. The other thing about the Redemption House, I will say, after the whole CT trying to woo Jose, why do the people in the Redemption House get to go out to the club?
I was about to bring that up.
If you're in the Redemption House, it's because you lost and you are trying to work your way back into the main house. You should not... One, you shouldn't be in a lavish house, hanging out, chilling, doing whatever, drinking wine. You should not be able to go out and party to get the stress off of your back like the people in the main house get to do.
You know, Paul might have to check me on this. The last time we had a Redemption House, I never saw them have a night out, but I now that I think about it, I do remember like Corey and Anissa and somebody taking like a carriage ride together. Because there was a big thing, like if Corey and Anissa were together at one point.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because I was about to, that's another thing. I was like, these guys lost. They're in a Redemption House for a reason. Why do they get to have these nights out? I agree. I don't mind them being in an okay house as long as they're isolated. But to me, they suck at something. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they should have that again. It's just weird.
What got me was the fact that if you're in the Redemption House, that's the house for, forgive me for saying this, it's the house for the losers. And I'm going to use that term loosely
Shout out to Paulie and Natalie three times.
Three times. Hashtag 3 times. I'm going to use that term loosely because Jenna was once in this house.
Well, to be fair, were they gone on the Purge challenge?
Yes. Yeah. It was the Purge challenge. It was the very first challenge.
Yeah, they did lose.
So I'm not calling Jenna a loser, but the Redemption House is the house for the losers. And it's enough of a deal that last season they were in a really nice house. Fine. Whatever. But you shouldn't be able to go out and party and have fun if you're in the loser's house.
Yeah, I don't agree with... I mean, I do agree with that point. I don't agree with them being able to just do whatever.
So we grew up in church. And we went on these youth trips all the time, correct?
Yeah.
The places we stayed, most times, like, okay, there are trips I know they take now where there's, like, community showers. Yeah. It's really gross.
Yeah.
And the sleeping arrangements, it smells. Yeah. It's...
like bunk style.
But, like, the worst kind of bunk beds you can have.
Like prison beds.
I feel like that is, like... the best they should have access to.
So it'd be kind of like Invasion of the Champs, where they started out in the shack thing.
Yes, that should be the Redemption House.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all. At the same time, I don't know. Again, it's weird. I don't know if I like the Redemption House. Honestly, I get why they added it. It adds another twist to the show. I know a lot of people hate it this season because it's unfair.
What I don't like is you can be the person that's in the Redemption House and you pull the double cross, you choose a team to go against. I'm fine up until that point. But if you lose, you just go back.
Yeah,
you should go home.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Because
because now Natalie and Paulie
have been in the Redemption House
3 times.
Since day one. The day one was the first challenge. It was a Purge challenge. They lost. They went straight to the Redemption House, and then they got to pull the double cross, go into elimination. They lost. Went back to Redemption House. Another double cross. They lost. Back to Redemption House. This is their 3rd time in there.
So
why are they still on this show?
I agree. I know
10 episodes in, and they haven't been in the main. They don't even know what the main house looks like.
That's not true. They were in the main house to begin with.
Yep.
And they lost the first elimination.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still.
I appreciate the passion, but they were.
They should be going. They should already be home. They should have been home after the first time.
Yeah, because think back. Cara and Paulie had the whole weird interactions in the house.
Yeah, I kept forgetting about that.
So they were in the house for like the first day or two. They were in I believe, the first elimination that someone went into redemption, correct? It's first or second?
I don't know. Ask that checker, Paul.
Yeah.
I believe so. But the thing is, there is a scenario where they're in the final and they've been in the redemption house the whole time.
Oh.
That's the crazy thing to think
that's
about.
That's what I don't like.
They've spent in the redemption house.
Is that you could legitimately make it to the final and spend your...
And not have to compete in any of the daily stuff or any
They
of
need to be sent home.
I do agree with that. I don't like the redemption because it is unfair. It's just a crapshoot. It's just pure luck if you get to make it back in.
They did a couple of seasons ago, I think, with the people in the redemption house. They would get up to like 4 people or 4 teams, whatever it was, but they would all compete.
Mm-hmm.
They all compete. All of them
that was like
compete
Darrell and
against each
Tony
other.
and all them going against each other.
And
Jenna and Amanda.
Yep, and then but the winning team came back in. So
and the rest went home.
Which I think is the best way to do it.
Absolutely.
To continue to lose and then to continue to be able to have a chance to get back in.
To me, this season is almost too many twists, and it's diluting the overall show. Like the double cross was neat when they did it on Dirty 30 or whatever it was, because we had never seen that before. We didn't know that was something that could come into play. But if you pulled it, you just basically got to pick who went into elimination. This time, it's who you're safe, and you get to choose who goes home for sure. Like out of the remaining Redemption House people, it's just, I don't know. It's a weird twist that I'm not sure exactly how I feel about. Again, I think we could talk about that for a long time. The only other real quick thing that I want to get to before we get off the Redemption House, at one point, Jose is either talking about coming back into the main house or something, and he was like, and they were all gagging, and I was like,
yeah, that got me.
I was like, I'm pretty sure he means gasping.
Nobody was dry heaving.
Yeah, no one was like, Jose, like, yeah.
Speaking of,
no, we're not getting that.
All right, let's talk about this real quick. That noise, that exact noise. I've tried to get you. All right, to preface what I'm about to say. No, this is a good story.
It's not a good
Jake,
story.
I don't know where you're going with
yeah,
this.
it's not a good
You
story.
always try to cut my story short.
No, it has nothing to do with anything. I know where you're going with it.
So we play Rocket League together. We got a couple of other buddies that we play with, and our friend Joey, actually joins in on this with me. We will all get in a party together, and we'll just start.
No, you will.
We both will. We'll start making these it's a gagging noise. We'll just go.
It's not just that though, and you know it's not just that.
Jake, your roommate makes that noise all the time, just in conversation.
And then sometimes it's more elongated. It's like.
No, I'm not even talking about that. I'm not. Again, we're not getting into. But again,
you won't ever respond.
There's nothing to respond to. You're not saying anything. You're not asking any questions. You just guys think it's hilarious all of a sudden to just start doing that. And so I just sit there and let you do it until you get it out of your system.
I'm going to have to let Joey know you made that noise.
Jake,
he's got it downloaded.
I think I brought this up last week. He doesn't let me play. I would absolutely make all of the noises.
That is not true. She's never once asked to play.
But if
I tried to get her to play Rocket League
if
before.
I played instead of him,
you would go.
We would have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You know I'm the fun one. I think Joey has a suspicion that I'm the fun one.
I think the problem is that Zach takes himself a little too seriously sometimes.
All of the time.
And it gets him in a real bad way with some people. Mm-hmm. Me in particular.
Just you.
Everybody hates him.
So
he's the worst.
We try to have a good time, and
he just sucks the fun out of everything.
No, you gotta listen. I didn't want to get into this.
To quote Jamie Lee Curtis in Freaky Friday.
I love her.
You're a fun sucker.
Did she say that?
She did. She said, "You're a fun sucker.
But
you just suck the fun out of everything."
But she was Lindsay Lohan's character because they had
switched bodies.
Yeah.
They had peed in the fountain and they
underrated
switched.
Lindsay Lohan.
That's how it happened.
Yeah.
Movie.
I don't know that it's underrated. It's pretty appropriately rated.
It's an easy watch.
People still quote it to this day.
Apparently, you both do.
Let us know
Absolutely.
your favorite Lindsay Lohan
Oh,
movie.
it's Mean Girls. It's not even close.
Your
Parent
second
Trap.
favorite.
Parent Trap #1,
No.
Your
all
third,
the way.
third or fourth favorite Lindsay Lohan movie.
It's Mean Girls. It's not even close.
It's Parent Trap.
The question.
Mean Girls is a good movie, but Parent Trap #1 all the way,
No,
all the way.
so I've seen people on
such a good movie.
I've seen people on Twitter talk about that because like the premise of that movie with them two is so stupid. Because I know it's a remake.
I know the parents. Surely they would notice that they brought home the wrong child with
Not
totally
that.
different personality, different accent.
Not that these two kids meet each other. They have the same face. They have the exact same face.
That's a real thing, though. Have you never seen that before?
Twins? Yeah, I've seen twins before.
No, like somebody finds their lookalike
First of
well
all,
across the
when
country.
have you ever seen that in real life?
I saw it on the Maury show or
That's
something.
okay.
That's not real life.
That's
That's
not
on
real life.
TV.
Well, it happened.
What's the premise of that show? Like, Mari, do I have a twin? And they're like, come on out.
Did you guys watch Maury?
Yeah, I did.
I've
did,
never
actually.
watched it.
All right, so to get back on track, I did want to say, like, when Paulie wears that beanie thing, he looks like a character off of Recess.
I love that show.
He did.
Does he not?
He
Yeah.
did.
He looks just like a character.
Which
I
one?
don't want to
Take the-
give him that credit though, because I loved Recess.
I loved Recess too, actually.
I mean, I know the
What kid are you talking about? I'll know their name.
who's the
probably.
main kid?
TJ Detweiler.
All right, so I think if T.J. Detweiler wore a
You know who-
beanie,
Yeah.
that's him. That's it.
He was, TJ was kind of overweight.
Well, Paulie may have been as a kid.
I think he was for sure.
Do you think that's why he acts the way he does?
I don't think there's any. I don't even want to talk about him, but
Well, you have to talk about him because he was in
I
the
know.
show.
I
He was.
do have to talk about him. He
We didn't get much out of him
he
tonight.
drives me crazy on a personal level. And
TJ Detweiler?
No, I would be friends with him. I'd even be friends with Randall over Paulie, the kid that told on everybody in recess. But
So after all that, after we get the Paulie Recess lookalike little outfit,
I wrote real quick. Zach and Cara have this weird alliance we haven't really seen. They have
Yeah,
an
I did
unspoken
too.
alliance.
I wrote that Zach obviously feels bad for Cara because she's still
He said as much.
she's still
yeah.
so hung up over Kyle. Also, side note to that, when will he propose to Jenna? ? Side note to the first note, I did not realize that Zach and Cara were so close because I haven't seen it.
Well, they've done a lot of these together.
Yeah, but I didn't realize they had like any kind of relationship.
I think at this point, you kind of just try to somewhat align with people that came in similar times than you. Cara was a few
Yeah.
years before Zach, but
Not
But
too far before
people
him.
did not like her at all until kind of around the time Zach started really being around the challenges.
Yeah.
Like, again, even Wes talked about that. Like, people didn't like her at all when she first came in. And so...
Yeah, Laurel hated her guts.
a lot of people hated her. Again, there's a reason she got picked on and whatever. I'll say she's, like, swung a full 180 on personality, and we've talked about that somewhat.
Yes, absolutely.
She's kind of become what she hated to an extent.
God, that's deep.
I got her.
Okay, so anyway, we get to the double cross elimination.
What was the deal? All right, so Jose,
TJ's trying to tell everybody how the elimination is
and he's
going to
like,
go down.
Hold on a second.
He cuts him off.
Reed.
Yeah,
Is that a thing?
I was gonna say I don't know what that is. Shane knew what it was. I had never heard that phrasing before. Have you?
Yes.
Okay.
Tell
No,
us-
he said something like said something about library. Did he not? Or
You're
did-
in the library.
Read.
Yeah,
and I was like, what?
All right.
I don't know what this means.
So Hannah, will you explain to us? I mean, we saw it, but when did it become a thing? Why is it a thing? Why is Reed?
You're the young one of the group.
You are.
Well, I have a different circle of friends than you do.
What?
You were like genuinely surprised by that.
Jake, you're not friends with some of my friends.
I could be.
You never give him the chance.
That's the problem
okay.
with this world is no one's ever given a chance.
Okay, well, why don't you hang out with me and Moan and Jeff? That's my.
She doesn't have a friend named Moan.
Yes, I do.
Nobody calls her that.
Well,
That's her Twitter name.
but
I heard.
I didn't want to say her real name.
You said
Okay, here's what. All I heard was this. why don't you hang out with? I just heard the word moan. That's all. That's what I heard.
Yeah,
And
but you're thinking M-O-A-N.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying M-O-N-E.
Yeah.
I got you. I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, that's my clique. That's how I know about things. That's how I
You
stay
don't
current.
hang out with her, though. She doesn't live here.
I know. But when we see each other, it's the three of us. And a lot of stuff goes down every time. Anyway.
She told you about reading?
Yeah, tell us about reading.
That's how I keep up with everything. They let me in on stuff. So basically, a read is when you have like dirt on somebody or big news that's going to really knock their socks off.
But it's confrontational.
Yes, it's get in your face. Here it is. Swallow that pill.
I need the listeners to reach out to us and tell us just if you knew what read was before this episode. Are you old like me and Jake, or are you?
Usually, it happens when you have beef with somebody,
Which
and
this whole show's about.
You dig up some dirt.
So here's the thing: when they started that, they did have to have Shane explain it. So clearly, they were like, people don't know what this means. Shane or somebody's got to give a confessional explaining it.
Which was funny.
Yeah, so they said it. I just wrote in all capital letters, like, read is dumb. Like, what Angela's saying, she was like, oh, nobody's talking. I was like, yeah, because I think you're psycho. Like, no one's afraid of Angela.
Well, what was so confusing about it was the fact that, one, they wanted to start out with that. And I think Jose wanted everybody in the Redemption House to go down the line.
I think they might have, and they cut it.
And spill some tea.
I was waiting for CT to get ready.
CT didn't have anything to say. I guarantee Veronica didn't have anything to say because she's been in the...
I don't know what... you know you guys.
Not near as good of
I know, it's
impression
Josh,
as
Not nearly as good as Josh.
We talked about
Josh
that.
has it down pat.
He did do really good.
So anyway, Jose cut off TJ. Can he do that?
He did.
He did do it, but can he? Also, TJ seemed pretty annoyed when they were done.
Yeah, I wouldn't advise it either.
Oh, no. Because, it starts off, Jose didn't even say anything that we know of. He just says, here's the read.
He probably did, honestly.
Welcome to the library. And it starts off with Angela, and she's, yelling at Cam.
No, was it Cam she was going after?
Natalie?
Natalie went after Cam.
Yes.
Okay. Well, regardless.
I think Angela was just
going after everyone.
She was yelling into the void, into whoever could hear.
And then
anybody willing to listen.
And no one was responding because she wasn't really directing it at anyone.
She didn't really have anything to say.
And so she was like, yeah, they're not saying anything because they're so shook. And I was just like, I just don't think anyone has anything to say.
I didn't feel shook by it.
Yeah.
I was a little bit confused. Faith, she
went after Kyle.
She didn't. I don't know. She said she had to give him his props.
It was backhanded.
It was backhanded.
what did she do?
She spilled the tea.
No! No!
She gave from the back of her hand.
That's it.
I don't remember saying that.
You said it.
I don't remember it.
Wow.
That was a perfect opportunity.
I had no idea what you wanted
I knew
me to say.
immediately what you were saying.
She gave him the back of her hand.
So she gave Kyle the back of her verbal hand.
We also had a tweet, by the way, from I think his name was...
I saw it. I don't remember the name. Sorry.
Brad or Brian? I'm going to find it because I want to get it right. But he did mention that is a thing. That is a phrasing.
She was not in her right mind. She just made up something.
No, I may have subconsciously known it and then just used it correctly. So thank you. Shout out to my man, Brad Bryan. Anyway, so Faith spills the tea after Ashley has, in her confessional, said that she does not want Cara to find out about her and Kyle. And Faith is like, Kyle, I got to give you your props. You got with Cara, then me, then Ashley. And Ashley looks just absolutely ghost white.
Do you think Cara didn't know until that point? I mean, that house is not that big. She played it up like she didn't know.
Well, I wrote that Cara looked sick to her stomach.
Hunter said he didn't know either. I mean, they may not have, but I mean, there was literally 8 other women in that room.
Yeah. Well, the morning after it happened, remember, Johnny, of all people, is making jokes.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Johnny knows he's not going to keep that quiet.
So he makes jokes, and Ashley's like, hey, shut down that rumor. So, I mean, she may have told everybody that Johnny's just trying to stir the pot to get everybody mad.
Which isn't surprising.
Which is not surprising. So she may have heard some things and maybe she just didn't believe it. Because she and Ashley are supposed to be kind of acquaintances.
I mean, they've done like Champs versus Stars
together. They're not
enemies
until now.
They're frenemies.
They are their frenemies. So anyway, Faith goes off and drops that bomb. Kyle, when she says that, he is grinning from ear to ear like he is so proud.
He thinks it's hilarious.
He thought it was really funny.
The British people are one of the best additions to the show in years.
Yes.
Like, better than the Are You the One people or anything like that.
Like, I'm okay with Kaylee now. I've seen her with Cam, their partnership. I'm okay with her. I kind of like her. I know a lot of people that saw her on whatever show she was on in the UK said that she was kind of malicious and not a good person.
I think it was maybe even X on the Beach, but the UK
I wanted
version,
to say that, but I wasn't sure if it was right.
It wasn't the Georgie Shore. That was Kyle.
Georgie?
Is it
It's Geordie.
Geordie.
Georgie Shore.
I never watched it.
No, I'm not interested.
Regardless, there were a lot of people that knew her before she came on the challenge that said that, you know, she was just fake and not a good person.
Yeah.
But seeing her with Cam, we actually got to
we get to see
her.
Season.
She is. She's low key, and I like her. Joss, I love.
Joss, great.
He is women's gift to the earth. Just amazing.
That's right. They gave him to the earth.
You remembered that one?
I did because you keep bringing it up.
Well, it was good.
He's pretty funny. Got a quick wit to him. Very good at impressions, apparently.
He's good at the games, too.
He is very good at the games. And Kyle, I love because he's just hilarious. He's got the best confessionals out of anybody right now.
He's just the wild card.
He is. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, so we see them do theirs. Then Natalie gets up. Natalie's 4'11", by the way.
Wow.
We did.
Really?
We looked it up.
Yeah. I saw her say it one time.
Former Dallas Cowboys cheerleader, by the way.
So she gets up. She literally.
I thought she was with the Jets.
No, she was a Cowboys cheerleader.
I thought it was New York, but I don't know.
You know what?
You're the fact checker.
I'm pretty sure it's the Jets because it was a white.
I don't know.
A white and green uniform.
Anyway, she gets up. Immediately looks like she's about to start crying. Like in her eyes, they look like they're watering.
Yeah, they're
up.
watering.
And she goes after Cam of
all people.
Yeah. And Cam is not bothered at all by what she's saying. She's just like, nope, stop talking, stop. And like, then she
told her to sit down.
Yeah. So and then Natalie's like, no, you do. And like, you can see it in her eyes.
And Cam's like, you started this. Yeah. You came after me, and I shot back.
That was after they lost.
But again, she did say that.
Yeah.
Natalie shot first.
She did. And there was no reason to go after Cam. Cam had already beat her.
She was a New York Jets cheerleader.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mistake. Also, you can tell that Natalie is just one of those people that does not have a mean bone in her body.
She does not belong on the show.
I feel like because everyone else...
She also sucks at eliminations.
It seemed like everybody else was going to do a quote-unquote read. I feel like she felt like she had to do it to show that she had some kind of backbone because Paulie has gone off on everybody. Yeah. And maybe she felt like she had to do it also to prove something, maybe.
It didn't prove,
she didn't do a very good job.
It didn't prove anything. It just made Cam be like, "What are you doing?" It was, again, I just wrote dumb. No one cares. Natalie versus Cam, and I was like, I don't know.
It made a lot of people look at her weird
because nothing she said was like, "Oh yeah," but
yeah,
even like her tone was just. It was just, it was sweet and innocent. Like it was pitiful.
She's got a baby voice.
Yeah,
you can't take it seriously.
She's not a
threat in the game. No. Like, honestly, she's not. Like, she said as much. She's like, I'm holding Paulie back because I can't do things well.
But you know what? Good for her. For being able to see that.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone saw it. Like, you'd be delusional not to see it.
She certainly realized it quicker than Derek H.
True. He probably still has not figured it out. They've been on the same number of seasons. She made it. She made it a lot further, but she also had that bananas connection.
Johnny.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So we get into the actual elimination.
Of course.
It's a puzzle. We knew. We
Jose
saw it was a puzzle.
and Davon choose Johnny and
we knew it.
Choose Paulie and Natalie.
We knew
even
it was
though
happen.
I think Angela and Faith thought that they were going to choose them because they were such good friends.
They didn't freak out though when
they didn't freak out.
So I feel like they knew.
I think they thought that they had a pretty good chance.
Regardless, again, we talked about it earlier in the episode. We knew they were going to do that.
I was trying to figure out some sort of real like good comparison with CT leaving like from a movie or something to like really paint a picture of what it felt like to see him leave this early.
Like when Rose pried Jack's fingers off of the door and his frozen body sank into the water.
Is CT Jack?
Yeah. He didn't have a chance.
You know what? This is the same feeling. All right, this is the feeling I had.
Remember when the horse drowned in Neverending Story?
Never watched it.
I didn't either.
I didn't watch it either.
All right, Homeward Bound.
When Shadow gets caught in the mud,
he can't get up. So like CT, right? Like there was nothing he could do.
Veronica's the mud.
Right. There was nothing he could do. He's the wisest. He's the oldest. He's the great of the challenge.
Even Joss said so.
So who was Chance? The American Bulldog, which we have an American Bulldog.
We should have named him Chance.
Michael J. Fox was the voice.
He's the young buck, right?
Yeah. Okay. So is he like Nelson or Hunter or somebody?
No,
Joss.
I feel like that's more Kyle.
Because
he's all over the place, right?
Have you watched that movie anytime recently?
I have not seen it in like 15 years.
Well, if you go back and watch it, there's times when Chance is running in like a field, and he, like that dog is just told to run, and he eats it. But our dog Buster would do that. Like he just trips and like rolls over himself, and
he runs into the walls all the time.
But I know
in the movie,
all the time.
In the movie,
no, head first, face first, straight into the wall.
In the movie, Michael J. Fox is doing the voiceover, and that dog trips, and he goes, "Oh!" Because he just did a somersault. And I was like, that's good improv. That's the way to use that footage.
That's really good.
Michael J. Fox, underrated voice actor.
Yeah, I love
underrated voice actor. But that's the feeling I had is because
I need to watch that movie again.
There was nothing he could do.
Let's watch it tomorrow.
You knew it. Now eventually Shadow got back to his family, but
CT went back to his family, and got married.
So that leads me to my next question involving CT, regarding CT rather.
Does he die under the train tracks, or does he come back?
I don't think he's
gonna die.
Could this be his last challenge?
I really don't know. I mean, he's legitimately settled down now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this.
I feel like it's a no. I feel like he's got maybe a couple more in him because he's worked for the last
I feel like he'll do more.
year and a half on getting back in shape because he wants to get rid of the dad bod.
I don't think he wants to go out like this.
So that would be the thing, right? Is like
because he is such an absolute legend.
If he would have made a final, this season,
he may have
yeah,
retired.
I think he might have thought about it. But again, like
he's gonna go out with a bang.
Him getting like his partner took them out immediately. And
I mean, it was going to be a miracle if they made it.
Yes, it would have been. They got protected by a lot of people to make it, and so, yeah, I don't think he's done. Again, we don't look up the spoilers for the next season, so I'm not 100% sure who's been called and who hasn't. I think he's such a staple of the show that I think they will try to get him back.
And there's no way he is gonna let his legacy end on a low note like that.
It happens. I mean, we see it in other sports where people just like get to the point to where they just can't do stuff anymore, and you're like, oh, it's sad to watch them like get to that point.
I get it, but it's not like he's injured.
That's the thing. Like he's not at the point to where he is. He's not what he used to be.
It's not like he can't do it.
Yeah, we're not arguing he's not in the shape that he's in the shape he used to be.
No,
but he's not at the point to where he can't compete anymore. So I think he's still got a couple.
If he could get back to about how he was when he and DM were partners either time, I think he would absolutely make it to a final.
I don't think that's ever going to happen personally.
I don't either.
But no, again, he's gone. The one thing I did right about tonight, Jose did really good on the elimination. He solved his side of the puzzle in the first go-round.
The first 3 minutes.
And they went first.
Yeah.
And he got it done, and his side was done, and no one else came even close. So then he was able to jump on with Davon and help her finish out. And he's like, I told her to get out of the way. Because that was the thing is going into it, we knew it was a puzzle. We're like, we don't know if Davon or Jose are good at puzzles. And I was like, I feel like Jose might not be because I just had that feeling. But he credit where credit's due, he did really great tonight.
We knew that Natalie wasn't good at puzzles.
Yeah, we knew Natalie's not good at anything.
And she proved us right.
And yeah, so they get theirs done. Then in the next go round, they finish. And so Natalie and Paulie have 2 minutes and like 22 seconds to finish.
They have to catch up.
They have to finish in that time, otherwise they lose. And
there were on both rounds that they jumped on to do their puzzles.
They didn't even finish one.
No, but both times Natalie said on the puzzle she was working on, she said twice, "I totally messed mine up."
Yeah.
She's not
good at these.
Yeah, that was after the first round. Jose and Davon get on, finish their second puzzle. Then Natalie and Paulie get back on, and
I think they finished one side.
Paulie finishes his side, jumps over to Natalie's side, trying to help her, and she keeps saying, "I've totally messed this up. I totally messed this up."
She did.
And obviously,
they
didn't finish.
No, and again, now they go back to redemption, which is, I think, stupid.
It's so stupid.
They've lost so many times. It's 3 different times they've lost elimination challenges.
We started off the season talking about Sylvia in particular and asking what does she do well.
Act. Sells houses.
That
Yes.
she
Sells
also does good.
My girl Sylvia
Does well bobbing for beanbags.
She did very well.
So I have a note. So if are we getting into that challenge?
No, not
now?
yet.
Okay.
I was just kind of referencing that. But Natalie, does she do challenge-wise? Does she do anything well?
Her elimination last year, where she went against Cam, got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
And the thing was, when they were shown the elimination before they started, everybody, including Natalie, said that this elimination was made for Natalie.
We might need to get Paul or someone to check. I don't know if Natalie ever won a daily or anything either.
I don't think so.
She didn't this season. I'm talking about last season.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think
Well,
she
this season she spent 90% of her time in the redemption house. So
I'd say 95%.
it's again, I don't know what she does well. Paulie didn't really do a lot either. I mean, Jose finished his puzzle in the first 3 minutes. Paulie didn't. He didn't finish it until the next time around.
Underrated performance from Jose.
It was, yeah.
It was impressive.
Legitimate win.
He did a lot better than I expected him to.
Yeah.
I will say that.
And so we saw what happens. They come back in. Natalie and Paulie go to redemption.
I did have a side note on that. I said Natalie and Paulie go back to the redemption house for a third underline.
I just wrote
third
Natalie and
time.
Paulie suck as a
And
team.
I said, OMG, they suck so bad. Why haven't they been sent home? Show them some mercy.
Also, Cam had a great quote because Natalie continued to go at her after it. Natalie said, "Cam, stop with the karma talk. You're not God." And then Cam was just like, "You're right. I'm Cam," which I didn't take as she was comparing herself to God. She was just like,
she's like, "I am who I am."
yeah. And so,
Also, Cam did have another good burn for Natalie. She said, "You can come talk to me when you make it to the main house."
Yeah. Shout out to Cam. If you haven't listened to her interview with
her.
us, go back and listen to it. It's good talk.
She's so good at this.
top 5 talker. I'll say that too.
She's very methodical.
Yeah.
Planned out.
Mythical.
We've only done.
So we get into the next thing, the next daily, which is a purge challenge, which they left us on a cliffhanger.
Well, it's a purge challenge and an eating challenge all in one.
It's
That's
a mixture.
hard
It
one.
was a strategy and strength thing at first, and then it was eating and a purge.
We weren't real sure about the rules at first.
Yeah, I will say they did a very bad job.
confused.
We thought initially the more bags they got, the less they had to eat, and so that was the advantage. Was
like
if
you started off with 10 plates or something,
and if you got down to 3 and you finished the quickest, you only had 3 plates to have 10. That made this more
would have
sense to
made
us.
a lot of sense.
I think they wanted people to eat a lot. I
Yeah.
think that's the only reason they did it this
And
way.
they
But they didn't
mentioned-
explain it until
still-
halfway through.
Yeah.
it was halfway through the actual eating that we figured out how it worked.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about the challenge, like what the premise of it was, until they were at the eating station. And so I haven't told you guys this. I saw it on Twitter right before we got on, and I was going to just bring it up and see what you thought. Cara said, and I noticed this, but I didn't know what it was. I thought it was maybe just decoys. I noticed it was Shane, and I think she said Brad. I screenshot it. Let me look it up real quick. They had ping pong balls in their ring, and I noticed that there were these red balls floating around that I didn't see in everyone's ring.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, and so...
But I didn't notice that nobody else had them.
Well, Cara said hey, Jose, how about the MTV challenge not thinking those 3 extra grenade plates you had to eat before the time even started were important enough to make the edit? And she said, what you didn't see was Zach and Shane got ping pong balls and assigned penalty plates to Jose. And they just took that out of the show. So
I had no idea. I forgot that grenades were a thing in this show.
Well, they don't really do the grenades much this season. But what they did was, I guess those red balls, Shane and Brad picked up out of the water and put them in their basket as well. And then they got to assign extra plates to people, and they all picked Jose. And so Jose had to eat 3 more plates than everyone else before the time started. So he was already feeling full. I will say, when he was eating, he was just kind of dancing around.
He was dancing. He was totally fine with it. It did not faze him.
He was like, it's just like dry, unseasoned food. And it maybe that was almost an advantage that he got used to it before the time started.
Yeah.
But
regardless,
that's a weird thing to edit out. I mean, it's weird.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. This episode tonight did not make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it was. I don't think it was as good as the last 3.
It was very confusing.
It was fine. It was a fine episode.
Yeah. It was fine. It was entertaining, but the fact that a lot of things were cut out and not explained well left me just confused.
It was
in
kinda,
times where I should have been entertained.
We all 3 assumed one thing about the rules with the plates, and it was like the opposite. And it was
the exact opposite. But regardless, before it began, they said that it was an eating challenge. I wrote a side note saying this means that it's #Tony time, because eating challenges are basically made for him.
Marie was going to suck at it. But good thing she didn't have to eat. Yeah,
that's right. She didn't have to eat. Also, during the head bombing thing, it looked like Nelson was trying to waterboard Shane.
He kept dipping him into the thing on the other side of his basket.
And I mean, it was like back and forth,
and forth. Shane lost it.
It was quick. And Shane had to go off on him. And Nelson's like, oh, just shut up and do it.
Afterwards, they seemed fine. Like, they were cussing and yelling at each other.
Well, the thing was, I said, it looks like he's trying to waterboard Shane, which, given how hard it's been for them to work together, he might have been doing that purposely for a minute.
Yeah, I
maybe
will,
to just get it out of his system.
I will say Kyle probably had the toughest one. I mean, he's moving Brad.
Yeah,
like
that's got to be the person that weighed the most.
Kyle, after last season, he decided this season that he was going to try to do more to get in better shape so that he could compete better this season. But regardless of that, Brad is like 3 times his size.
Yeah, Brad definitely, I would think, weighs the most out of anyone that was hung upside down. I mean, I don't think it's close. Bananas is the closest, probably.
But
I think Brad's bigger than Bananas.
Yeah. Brad is definitely bigger than Bananas. I think he's taller than him. But the person that did the head bombing did not have to eat. So Kyle didn't have a choice, because remember, we see last season the reason that Sylvia and Joss are together is because Sylvia, Joss, and Brad were in an eating challenge together.
And Tony killed everybody.
And they made, the 2 boys, Joss and Brad, made Sylvia do the eating. So, of course, Brad's not going to eat. He's going to make Kyle do it.
I just thought they threw her in at the end. I don't remember.
They threw her. They voted for her to do the eating. Yeah. Also, I did make a mental note of this also. Sylvia and Joss are teammates. Joss did the eating this time.
Yeah.
I will say,
I think it was to make amends.
They did make Sylvia eat last season, but they also threw her in the challenge.
Yeah, afterwards.
Which is why she was upset.
That's why, that is why. So that's where the vendetta all came from.
Because she did the heavy lifting, and they still threw her in. You know,
the 2 of them did not want to do the eating challenge.
And I think that was the one where she went in with Melissa, and they fought for a long time.
Yes.
Which was a good elimination.
So
she like bit her or something.
We had after they did the bobbing for the little beanbag things, we had Mogadoo.
I don't remember the name.
Which
is it's Mogadoo.
It's a G.
It was a
but it's
spelled with a G, but
like mahogany.
Well,
right?
No, well, it was pronounced with like a K.
It had a like regional dialect, like the way it was pronounced.
Snook and roe.
Yeah, which is roe is just eggs,
it's
like
an
fish
egg
eggs.
sack.
Yeah,
of a snook fish.
Yeah, they initially said eggs, and then we found out it was the egg sack.
And then we had the way I typed it down is wakies, but I know that's not
the chicken feet.
The chicken feet, yeah.
Chicken claws, as Joss said.
If you had to go with one, if you had to eat one,
just one.
Yeah, a plate full of one.
Ooh,
eggs.
they said that a lot of them said that was the worst one.
Hunter said it was dry. You just had to sip a little bit of water.
I might go the eggs, but at the same time I might do the intestines because I feel like you boil that and it's just gonna be just like
one of the people eating it said it tasted like crap. Which
Johnny was saying
through.
that before.
Yeah, but somebody said it tasted a little bit like crap.
Well, they boiled it. There's no way it actually tasted like. The thing is, I feel like the texture would be the biggest part.
I feel like it would feel like you're chewing on fat.
Yeah, and I don't like that at all.
That would make me throw up.
That would make me feel sick.
That's why eggs all the way. I'm not about to be chewing on some bones. They had to eat the bones on the fish on the chicken feet.
Yeah.
So that's why the chicken feet would be out for me.
Yeah, I would say I would out and the fingernails.
Yeah. It's bad enough when you get like and this is not a shot at McDonald's, but they're chicken nuggets and it's got that gristle in it.
Yeah, I don't.
That's bad enough.
Oh, that messes me up.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, that made me sick.
Yeah. I didn't want to eat.
Speaking of which, we found out Kaylee was a little bit disappointed. She said that she and Cam should have switched roles for this challenge.
Well,
she called Cam the bougiest eater on the challenge.
Well, Cam was eating it like she would like pick off a little piece and put it in her mouth.
She was doing some fancy eating. She
wasn't just like
pulling off little pieces and then putting the little pieces in her mouth, taking her time chewing it.
All they had to do was eat seven plates.
7 plates. Well, I was thinking Marie and Cara only got 6 plates.
Anyone that ate 7 or above was safe as long as it was within the time limit. And Cara finished her 6 plates. Now it's just up to Cam, and that's where the cliffhanger comes in.
Yeah.
They could have edited it weird, but I don't.
The way it was edited, which it may not have been cut that way, what we saw was that Cara was at 3 plates and Cam was at 3 plates, and so whoever finished first.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think that's how it ended up. It was just Cam had to finish the 7 within their amount of time. Because I think Cara finished her 6 already.
It seemed like that.
But she can't eat anymore because there's nothing else to eat.
Yeah,
so
she doesn't have another plate.
Cam just has to get 7 in the allotted time, and we don't know if she's going to do that.
Which, if the show is any indicator, she's not even close.
Yeah, the way that they showed her trays in front of her, she had like 8 left.
So I have talked up Cam real big all
This
season.
will be disappointing.
We've found her kryptonite.
We found her weakness, that she's not much of an eater.
Yeah. Which I would probably struggle with that the most for sure. So texture's a weird thing for me.
Yeah.
She's still top 5 all time in my book.
I want to see her succeed in this.
Yeah. We'll see. And again, here's my take on it, and I have nothing to base this off of, so this isn't like fact. I feel like Cara and Marie lose, and then they go to redemption, and then that's how Cara and Paulie's relationship becomes what it is that we see today.
That would make sense because
that's my personal thoughts on it.
They haven't really spent any time together so far.
Yeah,
this
is not based on anything, but they have a very
weird,
strong, weird relationship now that they have to be together at some point. So.
Is that what you want to see?
That's the only thing that makes sense. I don't want to see it, but it's the only thing that makes sense. It's a logical explanation.
The more that I see from Paulie, the less and less I like him, and I don't care to be on the record saying that because he rubs me in such a wrong way. And I said it a little bit last week, what I thought was going on. He's made more comments this week. He did another podcast, which are guys that I respect and I really like. I didn't listen to it out of principle.
But we did read a lot.
I read a lot about
comments.
it, and so many people are like, he was in straight WWE bad character promo like the whole time, and like they said for an hour.
A lot of people did comment saying they had to turn it off.
Like big fan, and so I was like, I do not want to have that in my head for the next hour, and I made a comment on something on like one of those Facebook groups, and I was like, every time he talks, I just want to be like, we get it. You have sex. Like, congratulations. Like, we know now.
He's not the only person that has sex.
I know.
Other people have sex.
I would love nothing more than if he happened to listen to one of these past couple of recaps and hears you talking about him, and he tweets at us wanting to come on the show.
I'll talk to him because, again, Shane said he's a good person. Now, other people that we know on the show have not said that, but
do you realize how great of a podcast that would be?
We'll see.
Maybe not, because people have established they don't like to listen to him. But
that's the thing.
I would pay to see see you and Paulie go at it.
I don't want to go at it.
No.
I want you to go at it.
It would be insufferable for me.
Yeah, I'm not.
I don't like to listen to people argue.
Again, they're
Jake, you're weird.
Look, there are just certain people that you just don't vibe with, and they have a very different personality from you, and he just gives me that feeling.
He gives you the heebie-jeebies.
You know, the thing is, Shane did tell us that he's a great person. He really likes him, and part of me believes Shane. He may know the real Paulie. Paulie may be still in character mode.
I feel like he lives in character mode.
Well, he might, as long as he is on the challenge, which he may have gone back into his character for that podcast.
I wonder
interview.
if we watched. Oh no,
because
they said
he's playing that character.
Yeah, they said he was in character.
That's the thing.
We don't watch Big Brother. They were all on Big Brother together. I wonder if he was like. I've seen clips of him on that Big Brother season, and
he seems the same.
The women hated him on that season. I've seen them straight up calling him out, and he seems like he's kind of the same person. Which is, again, funny because apparently his brother, who was on the show first on Big Brother, everyone loved. Like, a really beloved character. We don't. I'm going off of what I've read from other people. Like a fan
favorite.
Yeah, I don't watch Big Brother. None of us here do. Nothing against it. We just
maybe we need to try after this season. I don't know. But back to the eating challenge. The song they used called "Party Till You Puke"
was Andrew WK. Yeah,
it was so fitting.
When it came on, I was like, "This is Andrew WK," and I was like, "I'm gonna love this part because I love Andrew WK."
It was a really great song selection for this challenge. Absolutely, just spot on. It was great.
So
it's not a bad song either.
No,
like, it was real catchy.
Yeah, Andrew WK is great.
like I was getting into the song and I was actually writing a note. So when I looked up, it showed the song name, and I was like, "Oh, this is just awesome." Also, I did write, it was very surprising to see how well Jose did on this challenge. Mm-hmm. Hunter and Ashley won because Hunter just absolutely licked his plates clean.
He said, "I'm notorious for eating challenges."
And we didn't know that.
Yeah.
But apparently Jose is too. He was totally unfazed while he was eating it. Hunter did look like it was a little bit difficult at times.
The rest of the teams, once they got past 7 plates and they realized they can't win, there's like, okay, we're safe.
Yeah,
Stop.
Tony very slowly pushed his chewed up mound of food out of his mouth.
I thought he was the favorite to win. I really did.
Obviously, I did too because I said it was Tony time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hunter did amazing and Jose did as well. I was very impressed by both of their performances tonight.
So
we also thought our Tennessee Titans were the favorite to win this week, but
that's
I didn't even watch.
This is the weirdest game I've ever seen in my life.
That was
we're not going to get into that. We could talk about that for a while.
So, do you have any other notes on tonight's episode?
No, just that they showed some previews. Again, the way they promo these previews, they're like the finale of Final Reckoning. They're like, it's coming,
and we know the finale is not next week.
I think we're past the halfway point, and they're saying the final episodes of this season are coming. They showed a preview. One thing that I don't think they've discussed yet is I wrote, it's a Rivals 3 twist that the number one performer on the winning team gets to decide if they keep it all or if they split it.
It's a repeat of Johnny Bananas and Sarah.
Rivals 3. And so
I will say
that's a big twist.
It's a Rivals 3-peat.
I think that someone is more likely to do it now.
It's already been done.
Because
the precedent's been set.
Yep. Yeah. So even if it's a nicer individual, I think it's more likely to be done now.
It would be a bigger deal if a nice person did it. Because Johnny, we all kind of knew he was going to do it.
Well, I remember.
I love that.
I remember the last time they did it
when he did it.
Vinny and Jenna.
Sarah.
Vinny and Jenna were partners, and I really thought Vinny was going to take Jenna's half.
Oh, he would have for sure.
I think Jenna thought he was going to. I think everybody else thought he was going to.
I think if he won the big money, he would.
And he said, "I'm gonna take my half and let Jenna have hers." And like the look of relief on her face, I'll never forget it.
But think about if the money was,
it
400.
Basically double that because they came in what, third or second?
I don't remember.
Regardless, Johnny and Sarah won. It was a lot of money. Sarah was going to pay off her student debt.
It was a great TV moment.
She and her husband had just gotten married. She wanted to pay off her debt and settle down and start their family. She had already decided this was her last challenge.
Again, shout out to Brain Candy Podcast. They're nice people.
Yeah. I love Sarah. She is one of my top 5.
Yeah.
Sarah's one of my top 3.
So, again, it sucks for her. Great for the show.
It made great TV,
for the show.
But it made me lose every ounce of respect I ever had for Johnny Bananas.
I don't know how many people had a lot of respect for him.
Any ounce of respect I ever had for Johnny Bananas, because I loved Sarah so much.
Yeah,
I'm still mad about that.
He still brings it up occasionally. But yeah, that was the big twist. We saw it looked like Zach gets like body slammed at some point this season.
Well, I wrote somebody gets absolutely all caps laid out.
Yeah, and then they show Zach with like this huge black eye and messed up nose, and we don't know if that's from a challenge or from that quote fight or whatever. That could have been he got hit in the face during a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it could be. I mean, that's happened before.
Yeah, and so again, I think this season's going to be good, like the rest of the season.
I think next week's going to be really good because somebody gets laid out. We suspect it's Zach. It might not be.
I think that was just promo in the rest of the season.
Oh, really?
No, if all that was next episode, there was a lot of stuff.
You're ready to see a fight, aren't you?
I am. I haven't seen one.
No, I think that they said in the finale, like what's leading up to.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
it could be next week.
I hope it's next week.
We saw Devin and Corey coming back.
Coming up, somebody gets laid out.
Yeah.
How I wrote it down was Devin and Corey come in as mercenaries.
I'd be way more scared of Devin than Corey just because Devin plays smart. He's not the best physical guy.
But he's been working out.
He has been a lot now.
If you follow him on Instagram like we do, we've seen him putting in more effort and putting in more beer.
He follows us on Twitter. Yeah. Shout out to Marie for that.
Also, the very last note I have is Tony is popular.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's my note. That's my last note. Tony is popular because it showed somebody yelling at Johnny Bananas saying nobody likes him and everybody likes Tony.
Yeah, that's what this season feels like. It feels like it's a changing of times under Oath seating.
Well, before we move into our
how the turntables,
smashing heads and smashed heads, I want to give you my 3 things I took note of. I forgot to do this last week, and I had some good ones last week.
That's because you introed the show.
I forgot you do this.
I did, yeah. First thing is Zach screams seances and has 2 college degrees.
I thought you were talking about me.
Oh, I did want to say something about how he's got 2 college degrees as he has 2 huge snot rockets just literally flying in the wind.
That's right.
Shout out to Zach because me and him are the same. When we throw up, it's loud and we can't control it.
Oh, I hate Zachary.
What does it sound like?
I hate when you throw up because you yell.
I don't yell. I just.
It's like no.
It is kind of like that. Yeah.
But Jake, add a microphone to that and turn the volume all the way up. Before we got married, I got a horrible stomach virus and
then she gave it to me,
where I ended up with IVs.
That's true love.
And a week later, he caught it. We did not live together. But I pulled in the carport after class. I got out of my car and I could hear him in the bathroom, outside the house, in the driveway.
It's violent. I can't help it.
And I'm the quietest thrower-upper there ever was.
No,
I am silent with it.
Caleb, I'm not going to say last name. Caleb, he has a story about that, about how someone they know that we all know, Aaron, about how he threw up and he made no noise and he just like opened his mouth and it just like ran out. And they're like, it was the weirdest thing in the world.
That's a great one.
That's kind of how I am when I throw up.
I
am super quiet with it.
It's just like you turn the water on, like.
Well, we could spend all night talking about throwing up, but the second thing I took note of is that Johnny thinks Angela has a fire in her. So when Angela is going off on her deal and all this stuff, he sees it as there's a fire on the inside of her.
He said, I knew she had a switch that she hadn't flipped yet.
Yeah.
Again, she's Bad Girls Club. That's the whole premise of that show is
having a fire in you.
Yeah. And
I don't know if it's that.
No one was scared of her.
Well, the third thing, which resonates with me, is that Derek H. wants to break things when he gets mad.
Did he say that?
Yes.
He did. I missed that.
He was upset and talking to Tori, and Tori's like, look, you just need to take a chill pill. And he's like, no, I need to break something so I can calm down.
I completely missed all of that.
He did. I almost wrote it down, but then I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this. But he did. He said I think twice he's like, I have to break something or I won't calm down. Yeah, it calms me down.
I've never been like that.
And that doesn't make any sense.
So
I break stuff and it fires me up.
I'll say that when we used to play Call of Duty on the regular, there was an occasion, because there are these instances where...
I saw you choke your cousin over Halo once.
I did not choke him.
Yes, you did. Yes,
I did not choke him.
I was there. It was at his house.
Somebody's going to call the cops on me.
Yeah. He beat you, and you threw the controller down, and you got up, because I was sitting between you guys, and you grabbed him by around the throat, and
I did punch him in the face at Disney World when I was like 11.
At Disney World?
You were like 17 when this one happened.
So my cousin, and I love him to death, he knows how to get you. He's not even my cousin. He's a brother to me, but he's the kind of guy that growing up would, when I'm trying to sleep in the back of the car as we're traveling to wherever we're going, would take the flashlight on his phone and just shine it in my face over and over. He would do those kind of things when I'm trying to sleep.
He just pushed your buttons.
So when we would play Call of Duty on the regular, I understand getting mad and wanting to break things, because there are these occasions, and gamers that listen will understand what I'm talking about, that when you're just lighting these people up and they take one shot at you with a little pistol and they kill you, I actually took a controller to my forehead and made myself bleed. And
I've never done that.
Not proud of it.
I'm trying to imagine what that looked like.
It was. I laughed at it after it happened because I didn't even realize.
Like Abram.
Now this was like 5 years ago or something. I don't even really. I play video games maybe once or twice a week now.
Yeah.
And so that resonates with me. I get wanting to break things when you get mad. So those are my three things.
I will say, when you guys used to play together, I would sit downstairs and listen so I could join the conversation, because I love to just like talk through it. And then you would get real upset and I would have to leave the room because it made me uncomfortable.
Yeah. I'm not proud of it.
And I would look at Zach and I'm like, why is he so upset?
I was like, this has been
our
whole
life. I don't
get
it.
And then you would never make things better because you would be like, stop yelling.
No.
And then I would get enraged over that.
No. Let's. If you want to get into this, let's get into this. Since Halo 2, which was 2003 or so, you thought the developers of the game were watching you specifically and screwing with you. And you still use that excuse to this day.
I believe it.
That's when I would get up and leave. You would start saying
that. I don't believe it's necessarily me, but I believe they pinpoint certain because they can do this crap. But they can.
You would say it for Bungie for Halo, and then you say it for Activision, and then you'd say it for when 343 took over that they did it, and then you're like, there's Square Enix or whoever.
There's no explanation when I take a snipe at your head and you're not dead, and then you shoot me twice with a pistol and I'm dead. There's no explanation for that. You're making me mad right now.
But think about
I spit my water out when you mentioned this, so now I have to wipe off my mic.
Think about from my perspective. I've been dealing with hearing this from you for 15 years.
Look, it's a shortcoming of mine. I believe I've gotten better.
I'm trying to wipe off my mic.
Now you've made Zach mad.
I'm not mad.
Everybody's mad tonight.
I hope you're happy. You brought all this up.
Listen, I started out mad. I'm not mad anymore.
So
I think we need to start wrapping up here.
Okay, so who smashed some heads?
You guys go first, because I'll have to use somebody different.
I wrote Faith, because she went out with a bang.
Yeah, she went out with a fizzle to me.
She smashed Kara's head.
Yeah, if she didn't really know and that's how she found out, that's a pretty...
It's a good one.
What about you?
Who smashed heads?
Yeah.
Yep.
I think if I had to go with anybody, Hunter.
Okay.
And not only did he perform, but he is within the same sort of operation as Davon, in that you only get one chance with him. You lie to him,
he did say
that.
It's game
right.
over. So don't lie to him or you get your head smashed.
Speaking of that, I did have a note on that. I said that Ashley probably basically blew her chances at winning this challenge because she has blown her chances with Hunter, who is her partner. And
yeah,
we've seen that if you can't trust your partner in rivals challenges like this, that you're not gonna do well.
Well, except Johnny and Sarah made it, and they didn't. Again, that's a different situation. But
yeah, but they started trusting each other. That's why Sarah cried when he took the money.
So my pick, since I didn't have one written down yet because I couldn't decide, I just didn't want to do something the same as you guys. I'm going to pick Jose, not because he won the whatever. They did win. I'm picking him specifically because he finished his puzzle first, but then he also did really good on the eating challenge.
Mm-hmm. He did.
And apparently had to eat 3 more plates that they didn't even film.
Yeah. And
so
he did excellent.
Yeah, shout out to Jose for killing the elimination, but also
Super
doing
impressed.
the other thing as well.
Super duper impressed.
I'll go first on my who got their head smashed.
Mm-hmm.
Natalie and Paulie. I know I don't like to pick the people who lose the eliminations. There's no one else. I will fight both of you if you pick anyone else, and I think you both will. They've lost 3 eliminations.
I picked someone else because I didn't want to pick the same person you picked.
I picked someone else.
I knew you guys would do that.
Also, I don't like to pick the people that win or lose eliminations.
I agree with that, and my record's probably going to show that I pick them more than you guys do.
Yeah.
But
I'm totally fine with you picking them because it's their third time.
They are only in this show because they were pitied by the other Big Brother cast. They should not be here. Mm-hmm. They suck at eliminations. Paulie may be okay on his own. As a team, they are not good. They've lost 3. They're back in redemption. Blech. I don't want them here anymore.
Back at the noises.
Made you sick, huh?
It like the more I watch him again, the more, and I've never felt this way about someone on the challenge before.
Even CT back in the day?
I didn't like CT, but I liked him as a competitor because I knew he was good and he could back up what he was doing. What he's saying.
He did.
Yeah.
He punched Adam in the face one time.
Well, he probably did it more than one. Twice. He punched Adam in the face in the real world as well.
Okay, there you
go.
Jake?
Well, this is kind of like my pick last week where I picked CT because it was just a continual sort of head smashing he was getting from Veronica. Johnny.
Yeah.
He's
lost. He's like a puppy wandering around.
Yeah, and he's getting real offended at some of just the weirdest things, and which we haven't seen since.
He's getting worked up over like people that are a lot younger than him and a lot more drama filled that he should know better than to like get offended by. Like Amanda's done pretty good at this season, but she's like 25. Johnny's way older than her. He's
36.
done this. Yeah, he's done this for like 12 years or more. He should know now that stuff like that shouldn't bother him, but he's letting it get to him. So I get that one.
Yeah, Johnny's head is smashed.
Yeah,
definitely. Mine was TJ.
Hey,
he did not enjoy being interrupted.
He did
by Jose. Even because they cut him off, he had a weird look on his face, like, "What are you doing? You cut me off. I'm the host." And then so they went through the read, and then afterwards he's like, "Are you done?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're done." He goes, "Jesus."
Yeah. He
had an attitude about it.
I know.
He wasn't happy with it.
They a lot of the cast members have called him 10-take TJ because he takes a long time to deliver his lines right for the show. So he might have been in this zone like delivering his stuff, and they just like shut him down, and that's where he got worked up. I am going to stick.
I'm fine with you saying Paulie. I just don't like to say this.
Both. No, Natalie.
Yeah. Natalie
more
so than Paulie, yeah. But I don't like to say the same person that you guys say. I like to pick
someone
different.
we all try to pick somebody different, just to give a different perspective. And
I really felt like I had a good pick with TJ because he was like very physically upset about it.
No, don't let anybody tell you any differently. You did a good job tonight.
He was mad.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
He was mad about it.
So yeah, anything else from tonight's episode? We're running long, so we need to wrap up.
I got so fired up.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for our announcement in regards to getting 10,000 downloads, which
should happen tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we're gonna do something to celebrate.
Yeah, we're gonna do something that we haven't done before.
We're happy, we're thankful, we're grateful.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
If you're a new listener, we at the end of it each week, it kind of happened on accident after one episode. We recommend a band that we listened to in high school, which for me and Jake would have been like 2004 to 2007. Mm-hmm. You up to 2008, and Hannah's even newer than that. So they don't overlap other than me and Jake.
But I do sometimes, even though the album may have not come out when I was in high school, sometimes I'll pick an older album. A smelly album. Sometimes I'll pick an older one because I listened to it in high school.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. This one is not that case.
You can go first.
Start us off.
Mine was the Carpenter album by the Avett Brothers. Came out my senior year of high school.
Not a fan.
I don't dislike them.
I love the Avett Brothers.
I don't dislike them.
I love them so much.
But I don't listen to them.
They are so good. Oh, they're so good. I love me a good banjo, too.
Yeah, I don't mind that style stuff. If I hear them, they're fine. I don't go out of my way to listen to them.
I do.
I know. I live
all
with
of
you.
the albums.
Yeah.
You still haven't taken me to see them. You know, they were at the Moon River Festival Yeah, that's Drew Holcomb's thing that he does in Memphis because he's from Memphis, and they were there.
Good old Drew.
And do you know how many of my friends from high school went?
You don't have any friends from high school.
I do have friends from high school. I have friends from high school and then friends from private school in Memphis, and they were all there.
She's got a circle we know nothing about, so.
Regardless, you still haven't taken me, and I've been asking for several years.
You haven't taken me to any concerts.
I go with you to Jason Isbell every year.
That I picked.
You want me to go?
Yeah, it's your turn.
So, you introduced me to a lot of stuff when we started hanging out regularly all those years ago. But prior to that, I was still hooked on the Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears and Ray's. You remember Ray's? You actually threw that and Stacey Orico out of the car when I still had CDs.
To be fair,
That's
one
funny.
of the guys from Ray's is a convicted sex offender for like a 13-year-old.
At the time,
You had a good reason for it then.
At the time, we didn't know that, but it turns out he was. But
Zach probably knew about it and just didn't tell you.
one of the first bands and probably the very first album you introduced me to was Emery, The Week's End.
Really?
Yeah.
I bought that at Walmart.
And
That's a great
set me
CD.
on a new path, and it still holds up.
It does, man.
It's, it's a super good album. It still, to me, sets itself apart. Like, we've talked about a lot of this stuff we'll go back and listen to, and it's just...
Doesn't hold up.
No.
Yeah, I think that one's special because it kind of like ebbs and flows and has heavy and soft and real pretty times.
Yep.
I think that's one of those bands that put out a flawless debut album. Everything after that's just kind of whatever. As Cities Burn, flawless debut. That's the first one I picked for us.
I picked As Cities Burn.
Did you? Oh, yeah, we just talked about it. I didn't because I thought you were going to. That's what it was. Because, again, we agreed on that.
Yep.
For me this week, I'd been thinking about it. I have one that I'm going to pick once it's officially fall. I may do it next week because it's starting to get fall season.
You said this last week.
I know. But I changed my mind in the last second. I'm going to go with Trophy Scars.
Yeah.
The album Alphabets.
You almost played a show with them.
We booked them. They were here. Our drummer got in a wreck the day of the show, so we couldn't play.
That's a good excuse.
Yeah, we met them, and we paid them. They came here. There was a show in Memphis the same night that was Fear Before the March of Flames and the Number 12 Looks Like You and things like that, and we had people coming here instead, which was pretty great. Great guys. That CD still is good.
Yeah.
Haven't listened to it in a long time, but that's my pick.
Before we shut things down, I want to give our guy Wesley a shout out because he was actually texting me during the podcast, and we play fantasy football. You're out this year.
I am out this year.
We have so much going on.
We do.
Well, Zachary and I have a lot going on.
I have a lot going on.
This is my first time in 10 years not playing.
So that should tell you we have a lot going on.
So he texted me. He was like, I want Adrian Peterson, and because he had a good week, and he was like, I'll trade you straight up Cam Newton for Adrian Peterson. I said, okay,
Yeah, I would do that. I would do
I'll
that
do
for
it.
sure.
So
I would do that.
I want to thank Wesley for that trade because I think
Good job, Wes.
he's going to listen to this after the fact. So
He's my number one fan.
I can say I think I got
I agree.
the winning end of that trade. So.
Yeah, again, Peterson was even signed until they had someone tear their ACL or whatever.
Right.
Well, you know what? Wesley may know something that you don't.
He is wise.
He's very wise.
He's also
a good singer.
In the past years,
I love to hear him sing.
He's also drafted people that have torn their ACL before the season started.
Monterio Hardesty.
Yeah, well, he'll never live that down.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Wesley, if you're listening, I'm rooting for you. I'm your fan as you are mine.
So yeah, again, if you're new with us, check us out on Instagram, especially at Smashing Heads Podcast. We're gonna announce things through basically there and Twitter for the most part. Twitter is at Smashing Heads PC.
PC stands for pretty cute.
And podcast.
But mostly pretty cute.
Facebook, just look for Smashing Heads Podcast. And email us, smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com.
We love the emails.
Yeah, and other than that, have a good night. And we went a little long this week, but we had a lot to talk about.
say.
Yeah, so again, we'll be back with you next week.